And we're rolling.
So I don't know if you heard, but there was all this talk over the last couple weeks coming into the All-Star break about how George Springer has lost his power. It
I
had been
had
a
not
little
heard.
while. It had been a little while since the Springer Dinger made an appearance, and
Actually,
oh
now that you
my,
mention it, that sounds right. I haven't heard or
right?
read Springer Dinger in the Discord for a while.
In quite some time, and oh boy, did he make up for it last night, eh, buddy? Like, holy moly.
Grand Slam. I was watching the game. I think there was 2 runners on, 2 out, and Kevin Biggio was up. And I watched him work the count to 3-0. And then I think Buck said, "You're gonna have to take 2 pitches here. Like, do not swing. Right? Go to watch baseballs until it's a full count if you have to." But
He did not take that approach.
yeah, well, Cavan got on, and then I forget why I had to leave. I think I had to go check the barbecue or something, but I was like, oh, well, Springer's up. Like, maybe he can do some damage. And then I came back, and of course, I'm watching him round the bases. So,
Right. Well, he went 3-0, swinging 3-0, swinging 3-1, but
lovely
then he
Cavan
got a hold
Biggio.
of it.
No.
So
Wait. Hold on. I was talking
we're
about
talking Springer.
I was talking Cavan Biggio before that.
Yes, and now it makes sense.
Out of the
as to this
9
little
hole.
mix up.
Yes,
Yes.
Cavan Biggio was getting the red light. The do not swing here, Cavan.
not
Just
swing.
get
And
on
that's what-
base for George Springer. That was the
That's what
comment.
Biggio does best, is
Yes,
not swing.
exactly.
So it
Don't
is
even bring a bat
perfect.
to the plate.
No, don't bring a bat. Just get up there and take your walk. But so first of all, just a hello to everybody and welcome to the walk off. This is our betting segment. We have partnered with BetStamp, which is an aggregator of betting sites, and basically what it'll do is it'll go down and it'll give you the best odds in each site. So if you're going to make a bet, you can make sure that the bet you're doing is going to have the best return on that. Speaking of that, so listen, I love live betting. Like, I love betting during the game. I know this is a
Oh,
terrible
my God.
approach, but yesterday was one where I was like, man, I should almost bet that the Jays will, because right at the end there, right, it was like under over 6.5
Yeah.
when it was it was 8.5
Okay.
when it was 3-3. And I was like, oh, the Jays are looking good. Like, I should put some down. And I didn't, because I even put $2.
chickened out, eh?
I chickened out because I lost so badly on Tuesday. I made like 12 bets and lost every
Oh my
single one
God!
of
Can
them.
we talk about Tuesday? Because we both
We'll get into this.
struggled, man. Okay, we'll get into Tuesday down the road, but Tuesday was a bad day for me. It was Black Tuesday in my betting books. Okay, so a couple things right off the hop
Yes.
here. Thank you if you're watching this. Obviously, you're here for betting discussion. I don't want to say betting advice, but betting discussion.
Yeah, don't take advice, gang.
If you've tuned out already, then you're not hearing me say this sentence anyways. So kudos to you for being smart enough to leave. I guess this show's still new, so we want
Yes.
Input from whoever did stick around to watch this. The format of the show, I guess what kind of segments we should be doing on this with Scott and I. There is the option through BetStamp for Scott and I to have our personal bets tracked. And then you can follow along. You can get a notification, I guess, if you're like, wow, Adam is like really on a heater right now. I'm going to follow which by the way, don't follow my bets. But so that's an option. I don't know if that's something that interests anybody. Scott and I may have to start tracking our bets just so that we can get, I guess, competitive with each other. I don't know what the right answer is there.
Can we talk also about how different our betting approaches are?
Yes. We'll get to that. We'll get through the whole weekend, your strategy versus my strategy, our history as gamblers. We also need a name for this show still.
Yes.
So if anybody watching has a phenomenal suggestion for a name for this show, because right now it's just, I guess, the gambling segment, the betting show. Terrible names. So we need name suggestions.
Well, we're talking about BetStamp, by the way, who we have partnered with and are thrilled to have on board with the show here. When you sign up for BetStamp, they're going to ask you for a code, and that code that everyone is putting in is walk off. And that helps us. It helps you.
All one
just a
word,
real
all one
win,
word,
win, win.
WALKOFF, all one word, no spaces. Super simple, 7 characters long, walk off. Sign up and then don't gamble, and just we'll get credit, and it'll look good on our numbers, and they'll be happy, and we'll be happy, and your wife or husband will be happy that you didn't blow the mortgage.
One thing I did just want to reiterate with BetStamp too is it's not an actual betting site. So again, it's just going to display all of the betting sites and what their odds are. So that way that if you are going to make, let's say, a long shot bet, that's my favorite.
Here, hold on. Let me pull up the screen share so people can see what I'm looking at here. So this is on the website. This is just the Cardinals versus Blue Jays game, but you can look at any baseball game you want. And the Jays are
heavily favored tonight.
Yeah. So you can look at any game you want. You can pick whatever league you want, whether you want to bet on the UFC or NFL, NBA, what have you. But then across the top here, you see we do have all the different betting sites that are available. Keep in mind that as Scott and I do make our discussions, we're going to lean more into the books that are available in Alberta because that's where Scott and I are based. But what's available in Alberta might be different if you're in BC or Saskatchewan or Ontario or whatever. So just keep that in
all
mind.
The rules vary and have allowed different sites into different provinces. So that's what
one thing that I did like about BetStamp though is it's very simple. Like when you sign up for BetStamp, it does ask you the province you're located in, and then it only lists the one like the betting books that are available to you, legally in your region, and then you're able to sign up or whatever. Also, when you are making your pick, like I'm looking at my books here, so I got Sports Interaction, Bet99, Cool Bet, Power Play, Betway, and so forth. If I see that like, oh, Betway has really good odds on this particular game, if I go to click on it, but I don't have an account with Betway, it like directs you right to the sign up page, and you're able to open your account and have everything.
I was actually surprised at the ease in which I could do it because I'm just an old man who fumbles around and is not very good with technology.
Yeah, I mean, you're not the tech savvy one of the group, and that's saying something because in any other group, I'm not the tech savvy one. So,
you're Mr. Tech, and when I'm around.
All right, so let's.
We are going to point out a few games today that are interesting. And before we do that, though, I did wish to just talk about our different strategies when it comes to betting. And I touched on this off the top. So I love betting during the game, which is just such a fun way to add a little bit of excitement to a game that you're not probably feeling a lot of emotional tug towards, right? If it's not your team. So I try not to bet on the Jays.
Or let's say it is the Jays, but they're up something ridiculous, like 28-5 in the 8th inning. And you're like, well, this game's kind of out of hand. Do I even need to watch the rest of this game? In theory, as the line adjusts with live betting and the over-under continues to grow, you can bet on the fact, well, while it's only 20-3, like, are they going to score 5 more runs, or is this hemorrhaging going to stop? So live betting is interesting.
Tuesday, we both kind of strayed from our individual strategies.
Can I say what I've been doing for the last week?
Because I love it. I absolutely love what you're doing.
Okay, so I texted you in the middle of last week, I think, with the stupidest idea, and admittedly stupid, but I started looking at these international friendly soccer matches, okay? So these are games, exhibition game. They're just out there for practice and for exercise, right? But it is pro sports, and there are a dozen of them going 24/7, basically, right? And with live betting, you're able to bet right up until like the last 5 minutes of the game, basically. So I was going in, and I'm like, if I just bet like $100 on a soccer friendly that has 5 minutes left and the team is up 2-0. Like there's zero chance that the other team in an exhibition game is going to care enough to even try to score 2 goals. Like goals don't happen in soccer, right? So the fact that like 2 goals are going to happen to tie it up in the last 5 minutes of the game, unheard of.
We'll call this the nickel and dime approach.
This is the nickel and dime, right? It is bet $3,000 on Mexico to beat Spain when they're already up 3-0 and there's 2 minutes left, right? And the return on that $3,000 gamble is that for $3,000 risk, I'm going to profit $3. That is the strategy. As safe as it can be, very, very low risk, right?
And you were doing good.
And I was doing good. I was like 10 in a row. I was just crushing. I mean, I wasn't betting $3,000.
Yeah.
But, you know, I was betting my $20 and just kept rolling it over, and I'm watching it grow, you know, 5 cents at a time. And I was up like 10 games in a row, and then I got greedy. And this is where they get
what I love too is Adam even said when he was telling me about this strategy, he's like, no, I just gotta I can't overreach. I just gotta keep in my lane. I gotta stay in my lane, he's saying.
I was very aware of the fact of like, this strategy will work as long as you don't get greedy, right? Mm-hmm. The strategy, there's no way 2 goals are getting scored. Like maybe if it was like a game that meant something, right? It's like, you know, teams are jockeying for a position in the standings and they're out there trying to not get embarrassed and we really need the win today. Maybe something weird happens. But like in an exhibition game, the game's over. Everybody's just like, let's go home, right?
Honestly, it is, Mr. Mac, it is a great strategy. And this is where
the one flaw,
made a left turn here.
The one flaw is when you go from betting on odds with like a 0.1% payout to all of a sudden watching games with like a 20% payout that are a little riskier, right? But are very appealing, right?
Yes.
So I set my sights on baseball games because I'm like,
yes,
I don't really want to track soccer games, right? This was my flaw. I'm like, I don't want to have to follow soccer. Just it gets me to my core. I'm like, ugh, cringe. So I set my sights on baseball. I'm like, where can I find something similar in baseball, right? A 5-run lead in the 9th inning, right? Well, in the 9th inning, usually betting is closed. But here was my strategy. You take a favored team like the Dodgers or the Astros or the Yankees who is already up big against a bad team, right? Someone that is already emotionally defeated.
Against a bad team, yes.
Because here's the thing, right? The Pirates can beat the Yankees on any given day, right? In a 4-game series, the Pirates are probably going to win one of those, right? There's just a day where the team had a good breakfast, something was good in the clubhouse, the guys are pepped, right? And you don't know. But once the game starts, right, this is where it gets appealing, and this is where it's dangerous. Once the game starts, you know, like, okay, this pitcher is either on and pitching the game of his life and the Pirates are going to win, or he's already been blown up. It's the second inning and the Yankees are up 7-0. Like, if it was reversed, do I think the Yankees could come back from 7-0 against the Pirates? Yes, I do. Do I think the Pirates or the Reds or the Royals or the Oakland Athletics are going to come back from 7-0 against the Yankees or the Dodgers? No chance, right? Let's just pack it in and go home.
So far, the strategy has transferred well for him, right?
It has worked well for me, yes. So you can get in on these games, live betting, in like the 2nd, 3rd, 4th inning, where the favorite is up 5, 6, 7 runs, and you're feeling good.
So instead of a 0.5% return, Adam is now looking at like 20, 30% return.
It's very appealing.
Yes.
Problem was Tuesday happened.
Tuesday, yeah.
So Tuesday, we got to a point where I kind of told Scott about this new strategy of mine. I'm off of soccer-friendly gambling, and I'm in on baseball now. And we had kind of circled a couple matchups on the scoreboard, right? I think it was the Dodgers versus
Washington.
Dodgers versus Nationals. Milwaukee, I think, was one of them.
Yes, and then also
Houston versus
Houston to Oakland.
So I'm looking at the pitching matchups, and I'm like, Oakland's starting pitcher has like an ERA of like 8. This guy has like 2 career starts in Major League Baseball. He's a AAA guy. I'm like, Oakland is primed to just roll. Houston is just primed to roll over these guys. Well, first inning, Houston jumps out to a 1-0 lead, and immediately I'm like, here we go, right? So my strategy, my system, if you will, should have dictated, well, that's not a big enough lead. And that's
enough lead, Adam.
Not enough innings have been played to determine who has showed up today, right? But here's the thing, I'm looking at the odds and I go, but if I jump in now,
it's a nice odd. Yes.
It's like a 40% win instead of, if I wait till the 4th inning, it might only be like a 12% win. So let's just get in early, right? Well, I don't know if you know how
Which is not his system at all, everybody. Not his system.
So I went all in. Between 2 different sites. I put all of my winnings that I had earned from all these soccer matches, and I went all in on Houston to just continue to roll. Well, I don't know if you're familiar, but Oakland ended up winning, I think, 8-1 in that game. Like, as soon as I placed money down, Oakland was like, well, this can't happen.
Time to put up 6 runs.
They put up 6 runs in the next 2 innings. And if I had have just waited until the 3rd or 4th inning, like my system told me to, I would have known better. Just stay away.
And Adam was so confident. Adam was so confident. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get in on this. I'm putting $20 on Houston when they were up 1-0 too. And then it's funny because then right away, Oakland put up those 6 runs. And then my strategy came into play. Because then I'm like, okay, I've already put $20 on this game for Houston to win. But now if I bet on Houston
to come back,
they're down by 5, now the return is like, I think it was 9 times. So
right,
like
900%. So
I put $10 more down and was like, I'm going to make $90 if they come back. And, it's like when it was 6-4, I'm like, let's do this, right?
And then you did that for a few other games too, didn't you? Once you got onto that. Like, well, we'll just take the massive upside comeback picks.
The comeback. And I don't know if everyone noticed on Tuesday, all of the underdogs won. Every single underdog won. The Dodgers lost.
Not all of them.
The Astros lost.
Tell me the one underdog that didn't win. Oh, no, what was the one that you bet on and the one that you didn't bet on?
Oh, so this is what I was doing all night, is I was betting on the favored teams once they were down to come back.
Right.
So
the Dodgers to come back against the Nationals, the Astros to come back against Oakland, etc.
Now, the one game I didn't do that on was Atlanta-Philadelphia. In the 8th, I put 20 bucks. I put $20 on Atlanta, and I would get a payout of $4, right? It would be, like
all they had to do was get 5 more outs. Just hold the save. Yeah. And you're good.
I was like, I'm brilliant. I'm so glad I changed the system that I've been rolling with. And then the one team that came back was Philadelphia. And I'm like, why did I do that?
Yeah, Philly came back 1-6-4. So again, this is why gambling is stupid. Don't gamble with any money of any consequence. But
it is fun. It is funny how sour we were Tuesday night. Both of us were like,
we were both.
Come on.
The only saving grace, the only silver lining is that we both got screwed.
Yes.
Right? Like if I blew my $70 in profits and you were up 900, I would have been livid. But we were both down 70. So it was a good time. Live betting it's weird that it's even an option. It's so crazy to me that I'm able to bet on a like men's rec league soccer match in the middle of the day. Like just it's crazy.
It's awesome.
But it's awesome. As long as you're not trying to
as long as you're being responsible.
As long as you're doing it for entertainment purposes, not for like profiting. As long as that's not your strategy to pay rent or pay your bills, it can be a lot of fun.
And
So.
by the way, feel free to drop in the comments if you have like what system you like to go by.
Let
if
us
you
know
have
your
like a
good
little
systems.
bit of, your little strategies.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk today's games. I know we had a couple on the books here. Let's talk the Jays first, because if you look at the Jays, they are heavily favored against St. Louis, obviously,
Yes.
with both Arenado and Goldschmidt not being able to come into the country with the vaccine rules. They are not vaccinated, so literally the middle of this St. Louis order is not in Toronto right now. The Jays won big last night, 10-3. Kevin Gausman taking the bump today, so, one of the Jays' top starters. And if you look, they've kind of got Toronto at a 70% chance to win, and then you look at all the books and who's giving. So depending on how you want to bet, I don't know, maybe you want to bet on St. Louis here. The payout is better.
So let's just go with the example of Blue Jays Cardinals. Let's just say that you're feeling frisky and you want to take the Cardinals to just Albert Pujols. It's his last game of his career in Canada. You think he's just gonna go 6 for 6 with like 3 home runs, whatever the case may be.
Pull a Lourdes, if you will.
For whatever reason, you want to take the Cardinals to win. So through BetStamp, you can see if you're to bet $100 on Sports Interaction, you're getting $228 back. Whereas on Bet99, you're only getting $215. Cool Bet, $215. Power Play, only $210. Right? Betway, $215. So if you're going to place that particular bet, at least with BetStamp, you're able to see, well, Sports Interaction is the site to do it, because
yes,
if I'm going to bet $100, my biggest return is through Sports Interaction.
Is what you want, absolutely. So. Even if you're, obviously, Adam and I are not good at gambling, and we're just doing it for fun. But even if you're doing it for fun, you might as well make as much as you can if you do win, right? So.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely.
Okay, so the one game, we'll end on this. The one game that is intriguing to me when I look at the list of teams playing, and I know we're about 90 minutes away from this game starting, so by the time you watch it, it may be irrelevant. But these are the type of games that I think, as someone who does enjoy, having a little fun with betting, is one you want to take a look at. Is if you're going to bet on the underdog, which underdog maybe is being given not enough credit. So if you look here, Minnesota, who holds the AL Central lead right now in the division, is playing Milwaukee, the NL Central leaders in their division, and they are giving Minnesota a 36% chance to win. Now, there's a reason for this, but Minnesota is a very good team. Chris Archer is on the bump. He's had a bit of a rebound season, if you will, especially now that he's healthy, and has looked good on the mound for the Twins over the last month. The reason that Milwaukee is so heavily favored is because Corbin Burns, last year's NL Cy Young Award winner, is on the mound. Now, do you want to bet against last year's Cy Young Award winner? Normally, you probably don't, but if there's ever a time to do it, again, Minnesota is a good team. Corbin Burns had a rough outing right before the All-Star break and then had to sit around. He performed in the All-Star game. Again, you're betting against the Cy Young Award winner. But that said, giving Milwaukee a 66% chance of winning this game, I don't think it's actually that wide of a gap. And so that's one you might want to take a roll of the dice on, put $10 down on Minnesota, because the payout on it is pretty substantial, considering that next time you watch the Twins play a team, they're probably going to be the favored team, being a good team and all. So
that's a good point. Good insight there, Scott. Anything else to add here? Should we just remind people BetStamp is an app, or go to betstamp.app, sign up, use walk-off as a referral code. Really helps us out, even if you don't want to gamble and you just want to follow along and track our progress or whatever. That's a fun way to do it. Don't spend any money you can't afford, because you're probably going to lose.
Yeah. Awesome. I really enjoyed this, man. I kind
Yeah,
of
this was
like
fun.
this little
I think this is
segment
going to
we're
be
doing.
a fun little segment,
Yeah.
something new for us to talk about, and something good. We went 25 minutes. We were shooting for 10 before we
Yeah,
went live.
so
we were
we're-
like, yeah, if we could
yeah,
fill
not
10
bad.
minutes, but here we are at 25. So
There you go. Well,
Very
we'll
cool.
see everybody on Friday. We're getting close to that trade deadline. Tune in, gang. Thanks again. Follow us on Twitter at Walk Off Podcast, Instagram, the Walk Off Podcast, and of course, Discord is always happening. The link for that is always in the show notes. Take care, everybody. We'll see you Friday.